Say I'm good-hearted, but I'm just getting started. Got my eyes on the target. No, no. Till the battle's won, till kingdom come. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, they'll be calling me royalty. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, they'll be calling me royalty. Say I'm dangerous, 'cause I broke all the cages. No, I won't sit and take it. No, no. They left me for dead, I guess I'll never learn. Every time I break, there's just more pain to burn. They'll never, never, never learn. Till the battle's won, till kingdom come. I'll never run. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, they'll be calling me royalty. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, they'll be calling me royalty. They'll be calling me royalty.
All right. Hey guys, it's Chase with Ethical Trading. Give me just a second to get this link dropped in here so that other people can join too, and then I will dive into some charts. All right. Let's see. Any specific ticker requests y'all have? Kick them over. I've got a couple here in the chat already, so I'll look at those. Let me see. Now, I know some of y'all are going to ask about futures. That's fine too. I'm going to look at one real quick for gold because I told Haunt earlier, he was asking about like where the breakout entry might have been for gold. So let me look at that real quick and show him what it is. And let me hide this indicator so it's not causing confusion. All right, so gold, silver, several others, they're in steady bullish continuation right now. Okay. Yes, we had healthy retracement and pullback, but then you can see that we bounced off the support level. So technically, on gold and on silver, is it silver, Haunt? Which one were we asking about? Check. Silver. Okay, cool. Silver, technically, we broke out of the newest setup here on Sunday night, right? Because we had that strong breakout above the trend line that pierced the structure, made a higher high than that one. And then also, here, let me do this. This worked well yesterday. That way you can see this really easy. So, made the higher high here and pushed above this level, but also had strong volume with that push. And as you can see, we kind of retraced and pulled back here, but then right into Monday, we kept on rolling. So, last night, look at this. Same thing, right? We pushed up Monday intraday and then we retraced and pulled back. We bounced off this key support on the 4 hour. If I look at the 1 hour, not that. If I look at the 1 hour, same thing. We pulled back, we bounced off the support level beautifully more than one time. That arrow is ugly now. You can see there that we held that level into the close yesterday, and then last night, right after open, and like we kind of consolidated. Asia opened and rocket, and then retraced, bounced off that resistance, turned support, moved higher. So this is like a perfect bullish continuation pattern. Gold looks very similar to this. If I go look at gold, and let me just scroll down the channel and make sure I don't miss somebody. There we go. So I mean, I'm watching silver right now to see, do we consolidate and move higher? Do we reject potentially at this level? I think a lot of people see a tap at that level and a pullback and they'll assume, oh, double top. Well, that's not the right entry for a double top. It could potentially turn into a double top at some point, but I would be careful with that mindset here because look at this. Silver has been in a solid bullish continuation pattern for weeks and months now, right? Not only did we break out, we broke out with strong volume. Those daily candles right there are big candles. Like this is solid and very bullish right now. So beautiful reversal there off the key support. So I would expect gold and silver, unless something significantly happens, they're going to keep on pushing higher. So I'm not expecting some huge reversal on these. Just to be clear too, like retracements like what we see like right here, and right here and right here. That's not reversals. I think a lot of people mess up because they try to go heavy and shorting something in that situation. And that's, I mean, I'm not saying you can't scalp it. You know that I trade both sides, those of you that follow. But the risk is high. Whereas, like, even myself, I'm kicking myself a little bit last night because on silver, I wish I would have just stayed in the longs. I had it open and just rode them out until I saw something confirmed on the 1 hour or 4 hours as an actual reversal. Because we just kept on pushing higher, and I would have made huge gains. Instead, I still made solid gains, but it was more stressful because I made a lot more trades in the meantime. Jump over here and see which other tickers people had on the list. Cody's topping one right now. See where SPY's at. Because I know SBX made a new all-time high today, so I was curious. Yeah, SPY's rocking. So I would watch that to see, do we sustain volume and push higher, or do we reject potentially there? A little better as soon as my trade goes green. I move up to B, but get stopped out because there's enough gap. So are you talking about, Cody, are you talking specifically with futures on something like silver, gold, NQ, ES, or are you talking about just in general? And LTZ Twin, I already put the detailed trading plans and detailed technical analysis for NQ and the others over there in the chat. But here, let's look at NQ real quick. So what we have here on NQ is we're testing that same trend line, right? What we ideally need is not just to pierce this trend line, which would be great, and push higher, because we actually did in the smaller time frame a little bit. Now we're right at it. What we need to see is not just a breakout of the trend line, but also a break of the trend, which would mean that right here, let me put an arrow, this is your previous high of this trend, right? So high, low, lower high, higher low. We're actually increasing here. So we've been forming higher lows all this way. But right now we need to see a higher high above this level, which means that that trend is truly reversed and broken out. I feel a little uneasy with big tech, NQ, QQQ, ES, and SPY right now, SPX2. The reason why is typically your top weights are the ones that are driving your ETFs. And Cody, I'll come back to your question on silver, dude. I didn't forget. The reason I feel uneasy is because while we have been maintaining bullish movement on some of the top weight tickers, others are steadily dropping. Like Apple over here is very much in a confirmed head and shoulders pattern, playing that out. So I put out an alert earlier today to recommend people that are in long-term Apple shares to go ahead and hedge their longs just to be safe. Amazon carried a lot of the weight and movement today. You can see there with that strong breakout to the upside. Google just kind of flat. IWM ripping, which tells me people are rotating over to small and mid caps from some of the major players. The reason why I don't like this so much right now is like even Microsoft here attempted to bounce, but this is still an ugly bear flag. And I would love to see a reversal off of this and move higher, but I also maintain a very unbiased outlook and approach to when I trade. So if I'm looking at a lot of these things, like we've got a mix going on amongst the big tech tickers. The three main ones that I'm always keeping an eye on, and sorry, there's lots of lines there, but Nvidia, Apple, and Microsoft are kind of the big three players you definitely want to watch. I'm going to delete this even though I wanted to keep it for consideration. But Nvidia, we know it's been this kind of tight consolidation range. Now, there's a couple of things going on here. There's a gap here that hasn't been filled at, I must expand it, 180, 145. But then also this could potentially be a bull flag. And ideally, I don't love when a bull flag has a gap within it like that, but yeah, I still don't love that. So I don't know. There's a lot of risk right now with big tech, which people that have been trading with me for a while know that I personally am not a big fan of trading swing calls or puts on big tech QQQ SPY unless it really makes sense from a risk to reward standpoint. Why am I talking about all this? Because when it comes to NQ, when it comes to several other things, typically what you have is your top weights are driving those indices or those futures outlooks. So that being said, we're at a kind of pivotal point where NQ is either going to reject at trend again, or it's going to break out and push higher. Whenever we're at a pivotal point like this, what I like to look for is a catalyst. So what would be the catalyst right now to sustain a upside move to keep pushing higher? A catalyst to also come in and cause a reversal on some of our big tech tickers to help us to move higher on those. I don't know. We'll see. Like, I'm not big on trying to guess about what may happen. Instead, I look at the charts. I look like what the analysis is here, and then we react based off that. So we'll see kind of what happens into session open. But if I'm circling back to Cody's question on silver here. So the very short answer to your question, for those that didn't catch it earlier, Cody's question, can you explain stop loss a little better? As soon as this trade goes green, I move it up and then get stopped out because there isn't enough of a gap. So when you're messing with something very volatile like silver or even gold lately, NQ or MNQ as well, silver, even SIL, which is micros instead of minis, is still 2 or 3 contracts on silver minis, on micros is huge moves right now. So I've got like this chart in front of me, and some of y'all have the link to the chart, but I mean, all it takes is like one single SIL silver micro. If we move 50 cents, that's a $500 move on futures, right? So the way I try to look at it with stop losses on silver, and I'm going to look at micros for the sake of it. Let me draw this line real quick because I don't have it. That was the high from today. Is if I enter the trade, and normally, especially if it's a smaller account, like I go with the stop loss 500 and set the take profit, just automatically sets it 1,500 or 2,000 to give me room, and then I adjust them from there. If you're messing with silver, even micros, like anything smaller than $500 stop loss is probably going to get triggered left and right because we're seeing way too much price action movement within those ranges to where it's just tagging, right? So if you're in 2 SIL and it moves more than 25 cents, you're going to hit stop loss at $500. So that's why you almost have to use a wider range or make the decision, which is not a bad decision at all. It's a sign of maturity as a trader to choose to not trade silver, whether that's micros or minis, because I know that it is very attractive to want to trade silver here. It is also hella risky to trade silver here. So the big gain potential comes with much bigger risk potential too, right? So when I'm setting my stop loss, like I said, I kind of set default. I've got the thing set up in Top Step and then the other platforms to where it automatically, I don't know if it'll show it in here. I don't have it linked and I don't want to turn it on because I don't want to get flagged against their rules or something for showing it on the live stream. But it automatically pops up there and my stop loss is at $500 and let's say $2,000, and then I'll drag and adjust. If I'm dragging and adjusting it, I'm moving it to my key support or resistance levels, right? So same thing, like when I entered earlier today, I was in a long on silver this morning. I did the same thing on NQ this morning. I entered a long in the morning session over here on this pullback. I had my take profit set around this resistance level here. So same thing, even though it popped up and it said $2,000, I drug it up and I wanted it to be basically at that level because historical levels of support and resistance are each target. So the flip side of a stop loss, if you were in a long, for instance, would be looking at where do I have support range. And yeah, if you were to enter a trade right here, once it starts moving in 5 seconds, let's talk about it. Let's do it. I can't show live trades because, as many of y'all know, that's against the rules on several of the platforms like Top Step and Alpha. But let's say if you just YOLO'd and you entered into a long right here, right? Well, your stop loss, your closest stop loss, and I can't math apparently, so I'm going to do it this way so you can see it. The closest key support range, even without going to this actual one I have drawn, but right here you can see there was some support right here. It's over $1 down is where some key support is. There's a little bit of support right up here in this range, but that's still 72 cents down. So 72 cents on silver in that move is like $700 on a single contract. So there's a lot of volatility in range, and while that can be a good thing, you can kind of see what I'm saying about your stop loss. If you've got anything reasonable in an account that doesn't have buffer, a $200, $300 stop loss is probably going to get tagged way too often. And the way I like to describe it, and it kind of resonated well with I think several people in the Discord recently, was death by 1,000 paper cuts, right? So you can keep slamming these trades all day long, and if you keep on hitting that stop loss because you're doing the risk mitigation thing, before too long, 5, 6, 7 trades that hit your stop loss, you've negated, $1,000 or more by doing that. So same thing applies to NQ or anything else. If you're impatient about entries on things, it's going to happen. I mean, you may get lucky and enter something that then immediately rips your way. I'm not saying it can't happen because we see it all the time. Mark says 67 trades. 6-7. Funny. But, and then he throws the GIF. But hopefully that kind of explains a little bit of what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't trade altogether, but you kind of have to make a decision of what are you okay with, especially in a volatile market like this. I'm kind of tempted to. I really shouldn't trade these immediately, but the temptation is there. Because I'm human just like all y'all, regardless of what some of y'all swear. I'm an AI bot. Let's look at live. I can't take trades live, but I can do a little talking on something I see. So I will fully acknowledge and state that anything you enter in this 5 p.m. Central Time to 7 p.m. Central Time slot is hit or miss. Like, it may work out really well, it may not. But you're trading literally in... this guy's killing me. But you're trading in the kind of block of time between all of your global market sessions. So therefore, liquidity and volume is very lacking. So what that means is you're probably going to see some very wacky moves that come out of the kind of setup as a result of that. So, yeah, it looks like NQ wants to keep pushing. But also, like I said, early in the session. I mean, that looks like strong volume and everything, but again, early in the session, and a session that is historically dangerous, right? So, like, look, you can already see we're trying to reject. Some people would be like, I'm going to go ahead and short that. All power to you. I'm not going to death by 1,000 paper cuts in that situation. So, let's see. If I'm trading like a new 50K, because I did make those other new combines today for some people, then I would look at this as like max, because you got $2,000 max loss limit, right? So max, like absolute max, which honestly is pushing things a bit, a $500 stop loss on a trade. So that means that if I set that stop loss and I tag it by accidentally trading SI like I did earlier instead of SIL, I mean, look, this little wick right here is over 10 cents that just blipped on the screen. So that literally right there was, hold on, I'm trying to check these other levels too while I'm looking at this. But like if you're on SI, that little bitty blip right there is literally like a $500 blip. So like risk to reward is not there. Same thing. Pull back. The spread right now, if you go look at the orders on SI, it's probably 2 cents different too right now. So you're either going to enter the trade and be up immediately by $200, or you're going to enter the trade and be negative $200. So like, and not saying don't trade anything whatsoever, just saying sometimes patience is the better way to go. Because if I look at like the no-go table over here, like it's saying, yeah, let's long it. It's saying pretty strong strength. Smart me wants to wait. See, yeah, 5 minutes showing weak. Because it knows it's testing that. And the rejection risk is real. But it could also break out strong volume. I don't know. Gold pushed higher. So it at least got above the levels that this thing right now is already targeting is up here at the top of the measured move from the higher time frame. So that gold is actually playing out exactly as expected and probably is going to move up to 45.25. And I bet you SI ends up doing something pretty similar. I might enter a very small long and just accept my fate. I don't know if this is showing on my screen or y'all screen only. So, Yeah. Do not accept what I'm about to say as a trade call out or follow or any of that. But I entered a SIL long, and I don't like it already just because the price action and $500 I could get wicked out so fast. So I'm just gonna move my stop profit up. It's already probably gonna reject and it's gonna burn me. I'm gonna lose $500. Yep, there it goes. That's why I don't do this stuff on live because. Yeah, ideally I would look for a liquidity sweep there. I'll just leave it. Screw it. If it starts off $500 less on these new combines, so be it. We'll make it back tomorrow or later in the session when there's actually something that makes sense coming in. Let me jump back over the chart so I can talk through anything else y'all have got. Yep, I'm fraud. I lose trades. Dude, man, y'all should know that by now. You watched me lose a lot of money on a trade last night. Whether that was intentional or not, it's kind of out of the question, though. But I can lose on trades. Because I'm human, not an AI bot generated creature. Which I say that trade looks like it might actually rock out here in a minute. So, I don't know. Personally, I don't like to trade at this immediate moment. Like, it's just too early in the session. There's too lacking volume, too lacking liquidity. But Harrison says I'm trying to throw him off the trail. Bed says I'm a fraud, but he knows better. So, what other tickers y'all want me to look at? Let me look at some non-future stuff because I don't even want to look at this trade I'm sitting in over here now. Just gonna do like y'all, enter a trade and hope for the best and see what happens. But if I'm looking over here, let's look at some of our swings, right? Current swings. UUU was a good one, man. That one today was ripping in at open. Looks like we're consolidating a bit, which is good and healthy, but yeah, nice. It's that Fed strategy. Flip a coin. Now you got me paranoid. Now I feel like I need to go check my trade. Oh crap. It may move higher. Let's see, what other swings do we need to check in on today? Snap was looking, man, Snap broke out beautifully. Check this out. Our calls and shares printed on Snap. So Snap is looking fantastic. This is a good example. Broke out of a falling wedge set up here. Also formed a inverse head and shoulders. Let's mark it so that y'all can see it. But right here, inverse head and shoulders. Okay. Bam. So on the session last night, for those that were here, here, let's talk through why to draw it the way would I draw it. So inverse head and shoulders, your shoulder should be your, and this is inverse. Opposite's going to be if it was the other way. Wait, you can't see? What can you not see? Does not know we can't see. What can you not see, Mark? If y'all can't see the screen, tell me so I know. Oh, it's still on the silver screen because I'm on the wrong freaking thing. My bad, dude. Here, let me switch up. Thank you for mentioning that. So let me switch back over this because I've got two screens going on here. Now that I look over here and just look sad because I realize silver's probably going to tag that stop loss here in a minute. But if I look here, what was I looking at? Snap. Yeah, Mark. Hey, you get brownie points, man. Mark's trying to be teacher's pet. But Snap, here's what I was showing. So I drew this inverse head and shoulders here. And if it was a head and shoulders, it'd be the other way. But the way you're drawing that is you're coming in here, you've got a low, right? And then you retrace and your neckline is formed. You've got a new low. That's your head. Your lowest low point, your head. And then you retrace again, and your highest point, since this is inverse after your head, is going to be where you point your actual neckline, right? And then now your lowest low following that, because it's not this one because that was before the neckline, right? Lowest low there, is where you place that. Now, the measured move for this pattern, remember from yesterday, is the height of your head to the closest neckline, not the furthest neckline over here, closest neckline. So we're going to do that. I'm changing this to green because it's the inverse head and shoulders and it's going to the upside. And you're going to move it up to the point of breakout of your neckline. Okay, I usually connect mine right here because, oh no. And I like to be conservative with it. So instead of leaving it full-fledged, which honestly this thing broke out hard, it's probably going to hit that full level. And I probably could leave it right there, but see how there's that resistance over there? I'm going to pull back that measurement a little bit so that I'm targeting a resistance overhead. So right there, measured move, inverse head and shoulders. In a nutshell, SoFi people were asking about today. We're in this tight consolidation range and have been for a while now. Let me see if this trade closed out yet. Oh shoot, it's green. Huh. Alright. Whoa, it's real green. Hold on, I'm gonna move this stop profit up so that it at least like triggers like $20 or something. Even though me moving this up, I know it's gonna trigger for 30. So that SIL trade is up $300+. Interesting. Oh, 500. Sorry. Now I want to know. Now I'm curious who took the trade, because I know for a fact that Mark and Fed probably did, because I know how those guys roll. So I'm closing the trade. I'm getting out of it here in a second, probably. I don't know. I'm just gonna set the stop profit and walk away. Back to Snap or SoFi. Sorry. Fed's gonna tell me that he did his normal degenerate thing. Oh, you didn't, Fed? I'm proud of you. You didn't take any trades. So normally Fed, basically market opens and he's like, okay, let me go buy 5 SI contracts and then just see what happens. So, see, and Mark even called him out for it. So, what else we got here? Ooh, Rocket Lab. Look at this beautiful bullish continuation. Do I still have shares? Hold on. Not on this account. All my calls are all like not on this account. I should have bought more calls on Rocket Lab. That was a beautiful bull flag and continuation. And strong increasing volume. Wow, Rocket Lab is going to the moon. Let's see. Another good one. Rivian. Rivian's in a great place where I kind of want to buy more longs on it. And the people who have been following for a while know I love Rivian. It broke out of this broader structure. It's in healthy retracement here. I'll look for it to kind of build a base and then probably add the new longs when it does. Reddit. I've got FOMO on Reddit because I meant to add more calls and I forgot. And here we are yet again pushing higher. Let's see, and if there's any other tickers y'all want me to do, oh, thanks Silverstone Hearts. Much appreciated. Y'all hit the like button, by the way. Not to be that guy, but hit the like and subscribe button so I know that people are actually watching this thing. Even if you watch it after, hit the like and subscribe button. That way I can actually, gauge whether or not there's interest to this. Let's see, throw tickers in the YouTube chat if you want me to look at anything specific, and I will. Happy to. By some miracle, that silver long did not hit the take profit yet. I'm sure it will here in a minute. Qualcomm's looking nice. Qualcomm's looking like it wants to break out of this inverse head and shoulders right here. Alright, so here, let's map another one, right? Right here. So, high point. And honestly, this matters and doesn't matter where you're placing the initial pivot. The key thing is it's higher than the low, right? And then I'm going to come up here. I'm going to do this right here. And you can see this inverse head and shoulders is not quite as pretty and perfectly straight as what we've seen on some of the others, but that is still a completely and totally valid inverse head and shoulders. Yeah, I can look at Nokia for you, Fed. All that is actually required from sort of a textbook standpoint for a head and shoulders and inverse head and shoulders is your high, your retracement, your low. Or I'm sorry, let's look at Apple because it's going to be so much easier for y'all to actually see this because it's not talking inverse, it's talking normal because the inverse is just the opposite, right? So Apple. This one's relatively straight across, very easy to follow, although it could be slanted and they're still valid. What matters on a head and shoulders though is that you've got a high, retracement, that's your neckline low. A higher high, retracement to a neckline low. That, I mean, some people argue that the correlation of how close these are, each of the neckline points, matters. I can show you so many examples where throw it out the window. It still will play out the way it's supposed to. And then after that second low, your next high is where you put your right shoulder. So this would still be a potential valid head and shoulders pattern, even if this shoulder pushed all the way up here. What invalidates a head and shoulders pattern is a move higher than the head high. In this instance, we didn't even get that. We pushed up on Apple, rejected at that resistance. And where's the entry point of head and shoulders? The entry point is a break of the neckline. But what's important is the follow through. So not just a break of the neckline, but also the continuation and follow through and the volume. So remember the little chart that I've showed where looking at this, and I'm going to use some lines to illustrate it. Turn off magnet. Actually, yeah, I can do it with trend lines fine. So volume right here, right, is increasing. It's ramping up. Volume is in an incline. It is incrementing. It is going up as the selling pressure is occurring. Sellers are in control here. Seller exhaustion is not occurring here. Sellers are firmly in control on Apple in this instance, right? Which not shocking. The measured move at the head and shoulders actually was down here in this range. I shrunk my head and shoulders measurement. Remember, same thing from earlier. You're going to measure your head and shoulders here. So the true move you can see was much larger, but I took a conservative approach to it and shrunk it. The reason why was I shrunk it because there's a gap here. And gaps tend to get filled, and gaps tend to be a point of potential movement or pivot. So that is the current measured move I have, even though it can move lower. This thing is in breakout mode. It's probably going to move all the way to the price target. What I would watch for is potential reversals off of the support levels to move higher. It's personally, like if I was trading something like this, I would be trading puts in that situation. I'm not a big fan, again, of swing calls or puts. I haven't even looked at what the Apple premiums look like. Yeah, Fed, if I put the magnet there, if I put a rocket ship on it, call it a day, man. If the rocket ship's on the chart, it's going to the moon. So, yeah, this is a very clean example of a head and shoulders on Apple. So keep an eye on that. That's why I mentioned people should actually hedge longs if they're in it. Oklo had an inverse head and shoulders that played out. Oh, I'm sorry. So Oklo was a good one because we had a head and shoulders here that played out, but also inverse head and shoulders. But then this is why I've got so many lines and different things going on. Not only did Oklo have the inverse head and shoulders, which got it kind of to up right here. I think that was the measured move. It also had this large pennant, and the measured move on that large bull flag and that bullish pennant was way the heck up there, which, crazy enough, this thing actually moved exactly to that level. And this isn't like a BS thing that was drawn afterwards. I drew that measured move before that full thing placed out based off of the measurement of the flagpole. And people in the Discord can kind of confirm and validate that, but I don't want to move it and break it. But you can see Oklo is actually attempting a breakout of this downtrend right here. So that we got this. So yeah, Oklo is actually, I'm gonna put this on my watch list for entry. Dude, I draw it on TradingView. I'll draw it on Top Step. Good try. Still not pulling up my Top Step screen. I see what you tried to do there. But I'll draw it on both sides. The nice thing if I'm trading like Alpha or any of the other platforms is I'm using Tradeovate, so I can trade it directly here on the charts for futures. So the levels are the levels. But yeah, I draw my levels very similar and consistently. So I've got them on my Alpha as well as on my Top Step. Holy crap. My freaking silver is about to hit the price target. No way. I'm screaming. Oh, I hit the price target. Day one complete on all three combines, fellas. It just hit the price target. That's what it did, man. I didn't even get a screenshot in time before it hit it. Wow. I'm going to get called an insider over that one. So, yeah, here, I'll drop that in the chat. So, yeah, day one complete on the 3 new combines that were started today with a profit of $1,538 per account. Let me drop that in the chat. That was nuts. I didn't expect to run that hard, but that was a good example of how I tend to trade futures. So let's look back at silver real quick, and then we'll circle back to some other tickers to kind of show why I entered the thing the way I did. Wow. Now I need to go make those other 2 accounts because I did not expect to make that move so fast. So what'd I do? I entered here, and like I said earlier, the risk was high. I knew it was high, but that's also, I entered that thing initially with that $500 stop loss, which was somewhere down in this range. And I moved my stop profit up. Once this thing actually moved higher, I moved my stop profit up to $30 profit. So worst case scenario on that trade, it was going to close out for $30. And honestly, I fully expected it to hit that because it retraced back in here a little bit, but I guess my $30 profit was like right in this range. So it got close, but it never actually hit it. And then it ripped. So, man, I wish I was in that on my bigger accounts now. Like I said, I mean, it is what it is. Like, it would have been nice to be in it, but also there's plenty of time to trade more stuff. And also, I don't love trading in this time frame, but I entered that trade good and well, knowing that it could have been negative $500. Yeah, Amaze. I'll go over the how I mark the lines. Give me a ticker. Give me a ticker and I'll find it, and I will actually mark it up for you from scratch. So give me a stop, and we'll do that one from scratch real quick. I've got a few more minutes, and then I gotta wrap up and go help out with the kiddos. But wow, now I'm like kind of sad because I wanted to trade those 3 new combines tonight, but now they're done. So now I have to trade on my XFAs and my other accounts on Alpha. Oh, Amaze said any. Okay, here. Let me look at a stock that I have in the chart request that I haven't mapped yet. I think I already have done TTD. Maybe it's in a range that... Yeah, TTD I've done TA on tons of times too. Nvidia I know I've got. Meta I know I've got. Come on. Throw me some tickers, guys. That way I can show him or her how to draw serve. You know for a fact, Fed, that I've got serve already mapped out, dude. Come on now. But let's see how it's going. It's looking freaking great. And this is why I'm glad we're in shares and long calls. Mark this so I don't forget. Alright, so let's list of things I'm supposed to enter or look at additional entries tomorrow. I'm gonna drop it over here in this other chat. What was the other one I did? Was Oclo? Noted. Alright, so hold on, we're gonna find your freaking ticker, dude. Let me find something that somebody's been wanting that I don't have yet. I've got MU. What is BFF? It's like one of those low cap random things. I mean, I can use it, but I'm gonna try to find a better one. Wolf. I've got Wolf already, but let's look at that one because that one's actually been working out great. And like for people that are kind of new that are watching this, that are like, hey, what indicator are you using to draw the lines? I don't. All these are manually drawn. I just do a lot of technical analysis, and practice is what has helped to be so accurate with all this. Well, Harrison, to answer your question on how many alpha accounts I have, the limit is 3. So I only have 3 alpha accounts. Harrison, we're not going to talk about the details of how many accounts are in people's names and other people's names and whatnot, because it's technically against the rules to trade on behalf of other people, right? So, including family members. But you can have up to 3 accounts on Alpha. And I tend to keep max account number on Top Step and Alpha, and then kind of rotate how many I'm doing on other platforms. Luckily, I'm back at a point with my Top Step accounts after kind of clean slating on some. Winter, you know I've done UNH, but I'll cover it too. So UNH is trying to kind of play out that bullish setup there, it looks like. She's going to hit me with Tesla too, which we talked about last night, but let's look at it. So Tesla's got a head and shoulders there, and it potentially is attempting to break that neckline with strong volume. So that Deej, I don't know if you're listening. Is silver ripping for real right now, Fed? And I'm missing out? Look. Oh my goodness. The FOMO of not being in that on my larger accounts with more contracts. I'm not an insider. I didn't know it was going to rip. You entered longs and passed your freaking combines because I said that. Hey, proud of you. Whatever. But yeah, Tesla head and shoulders is in play here right now. Dude's already up to $1,400 over there in SIL. Nice. So yeah, winter I would watch out right here. Wow, it is going to the moon. So I told y'all, people are talking about shorting the top on silver and gold. Man, don't fight something that's in a powerful bullish continuation like that. It is not worth it. So winter, I'd be watching Tesla here. I think the news kind of rattled it quite a bit. It's definitely looking like it's in a potential bearish reversal here, at least short term. We'll see if maybe tomorrow, if a retracement bounce pushes back above the neckline for like a failed breakdown. But as of right now, Tesla could pull back. A little sad because I'm not fully hedged. I need to sell more covered calls, but I'd prefer not to sell covered calls on Tesla when it's on a big red day because premiums aren't in my favor. So I might just sit and suffer in it until there's a big pop to resistance and then sell to open. So I still want to draw out for... Holy crap. Look at you, Fed. Fed made $5K almost, $4,500, dude, and locked that account out already. 27 minutes into the session. That a boy. Just so y'all, like those that aren't aware, Fed's like college kid that had no intent of being this successful with futures a few months back. Oh, you passed those. Oh, my bad, dude. Oh, I'm still excited. Like, I was super crunk right there. Wait, why you locked out though? 44. Why are you $50 shy of passing the account? And locked out. You could have passed the account. Wait, no, it's top step. Oh, okay. Okay. You didn't want to make the extra $40? Yeah, you messed up, homie. He said wait. Oh, yeah. Play with those crayons, homie. He could have passed both his other combines tonight, and he could have been actually trading all 5 XFAs. Hey, in a way, it might be good that occurred. You were excited. Hey, it's okay. They'll unlock at 8 a.m. Wait, you're only locked out for an hour. You got 59 minutes you're locked out, so in an hour you can trade them and pass them. Yeah, you're only locked out for an hour. You're okay. Oh, no, you're not. You locked out for 12 hours. Yeah. No, your XFAs are locked out. Okay, this all makes sense now, and everybody else that's on the stream is like, what the heck are they talking about? I want to find a ticker. Here, let's just do this. Let me look at my screen. I don't know if I ever mapped that or not. Of course I did TA on it. TA on everything. I had to reread your sentence twice, dude. Because at first when I read that, I thought you meant like me. And I was just going to say something like, I'm not. I'm a terrible futures trader. I don't know what you're talking about. But his comment was, how's your wife feel about being a super successful futures trader? And I'm not even going to talk about the topic because he knows what he said and why he said it. And this is a live recorded video, so I'm not saying anything further about the topic, dude. I've got to find it. Like, I don't know why I'm struggling so much to find a stock ticker here. Let's do this. Let's go to freaking stock twits, and the first ticker that pops up on this thing that I don't have charted, we're gonna chart it. Let's do it that way. What is hot right now? So that's crypto. Mobileye definitely already have. ISMR. What's that? Alright, let's do this one. Even though it's kind of a low cap. So, and Lavanya, I touched on Wolf a little bit earlier. Navitas is when I've already got the TAL set up for it. But alright, how would I chart this? So the way I start from scratch, right, is I'm jumping over to the weekly, and I'm going to initially, which this is an interesting ticker, without any kind of good historical stuff over here, but doesn't matter. We're gonna do it the same. So I'm gonna look at the weekly, right, and I'm gonna say there's a point there and point there that definitely need to be marked, and then from there on the weekly, where do I have support and resistance levels that I can tell have been respected, where something has been either, oh, my magnet's off, that's why. Like right there, definitely was a resistance that first day, then it was a support, then it was strong rejection, right? So we're going to go ahead and mark that as a solid yellow, which is a key support or resistance level. So I'm circling back down here. You can see historically right here as well, and I know that seems like I'm clicking at random. The more you do these, like I said, the more it becomes natural, and you'll start to identify and see, like just glance, you'll be able to see where it is. I mean, as you're getting better at it, chart it, ask people for feedback. I'm always happy and willing. Wow, silver is going to the moon. Is crazy. But yeah, I would be marking my key levels on the weekly, and you can see here we had some kind of back and forth going on there. Same thing. It was a support, and then rejection, right? And you can see this is actually a good example of a support and resistance level, because right here, same thing. We pushed back up to that level today and rejected at it. It looks like we're going to try to push above it, but we will see. What I am going to go ahead and map here. Here, actually, no, we're going to do this completely in order. So I did weekly, right? So we switch over to daily, and I'm going to drill down from the weekly down and adjust accordingly. So I'm just moving these back over to the points that they were actually mapped off of. So if I'm looking at this, I want to map some additional support and resistance levels based off of the daily charts. So same thing here. You can see we respected it there. We rejected, pushed above, held that support, moved higher, pulled back, treated as support. See how it's respecting and moving within the levels in the range? I mean, technically you can look at this as 2 touches, 3 touches, 4 touches. The more touches that are occurring for a given level periodically over time, the stronger that historical support or resistance is. So one thing I also like to chart when I'm doing this is gaps. So the reason why I do that is because historically on the daily, like I don't care about gaps on any other time frame. Doesn't matter. Irrelevant. The daily is all I care about. I mark them with the dotted purple whenever the gap occurs, and gap means price closed here, it opened at a different level, there's no overlap. So there was a gap here, right? But look, as we moved back up and we came back and we filled that gap, see how that gap level actually ended up acting as a support and resistance level here, where there was a lot of buyers and seller fighting going on there. So once this gap gets filled, because gap occurred here, we've closed that gap by going back to that price level, I mark mine as solid purple, right? Dotted has gaps, solid no gaps. Makes sense. And this is kind of the color coordination that I use because it helps to stay consistent, right? So same thing over here. We've got a unfilled gap that occurred with the move overnight. I haven't been following the stock. I don't know why it gapped up or why it had massive volume or anything like that. It's just, it was on stock quits. I needed a ticker to do some TA on. So additionally, what I would be drawing here is some more support and resistance levels, because there's pretty big gaps that are multiple dollars, and dollars are a pretty large percentage on this stock, right? So, I mean, don't go too crazy, but you can go back in here and you can mark some additional support and resistance levels that you've seen respected over time. just so that you have enough to be able to kind of analyze and determine how is price action being respected. I mark them with a dotted yellow as minor until I see that they're respected multiple times historically. So like these that we marked initially had more historical reference from the weekly and daily where they were respected. So if I see that one of these other levels gets respected multiple times in the future, I'll probably change it to be solid yellow. But one additional thing I'm going to go ahead and do here is this trend. So we were in this downtrend, right? And trend is defined by high, low, lower high, lower low, blah blah blah, right? But I can see here immediately that like just see the trend. So if there was a low, there was the lower low there. It's probably reflective of that on the weekly. But you can see I'm drawing all of my things from the top of the wicks or the bottoms of the wicks. That is how I draw my stuff because I want the most conservative or extreme drawing possible so that my probability of the trades I make off these setups is higher. And what I mean by that is like if you were to enter something early, like if you're trying to draw, super tight constraints, and in this situation, yeah, maybe it would have turned out okay over time. But if you're setting your stuff as tight as possible or just trying to use confirmation bias to set it off of random points and it's more favorable for you, you're going to get burned sooner or later. So that's why I draw my lines the way I do, where it is based off of the peak highs, peak lows of whatever the given setup is for the range. That way, when a breakout truly occurs, I'm stronger within the breakout to confirm it. So same thing on any of those others that I showed earlier in the stream where like UUU and others where we broke out strongly, strong breakout volume. I mean, we might come back and fill this gap before moving higher. I don't know what the conditions are that cause that massive volume spike. So honestly, I don't know. I would watch these support levels and resistance levels. I would go ahead and probably mark these right here as like a minor resistance because you can see that's definitely being respected. So if I was trading like shares or calls on it and I didn't want to just sit around and wait till like 1175, I would want to know some potential key points between here and there that I need to keep an eye on to potentially exit a position, right? So just drawing those there. They can be adjusted as we see if they're respected or not. But this little approach of drawing based off the weekly and the daily, and then you can kind of drill down if you want, depending on what you're trading. If you're scalping it, if you're trading intraday, if you're trading short-term swings, that's where you might start to actually drill in and actually mark some levels based off of intraday time frames. But what you're going to realize is that if you mark stuff based off of the weekly and the daily, is that there's going to be a ton of levels that are respected on the smaller time frames. It's the same thing with futures. I know that Haunt was asking me about like how to go about drawing the lines based off of 15-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour. If you draw them on the daily and weekly first and then work your way down, you're going to find that as you kind of creep down, because like here I jumped straight from the daily, like this is actually a really excellent example. 4 hour, rejected and respected that level, right? 1 hour, rejected and respected and held that level. 15-minute, rejected and respected and maintained in that level. So it's like, how would you know? Well, I went with a super simple approach to drawing out my lines, and I use the same approach regardless of whether I'm trading stocks, crypto, futures, doesn't matter. Fundamental approach like this and simplicity works. Whether it's any of those things I mentioned, price action, volume, like it works, like regardless, right? So there's no reason to have 1500 complex and like all the indicators you want on the screen, which is what a lot of people do. And they're like, I'm trading the SMA and I'm trading this and that. Like, why? Start with this approach and sort of understand what the key levels are that are in play. And then once you have a super strong foundation on doing TA this way, then take the next step to drill into stuff from a more complex standpoint or expand into other strategies. But this right here will get you like trading so much better and more consistently, more importantly. So that's one thing that I'd recommend whenever it comes to TA. Hopefully that kind of made sense as I went through that one. So tell you what, I've got to go help out the kids. I'm going to wrap up. I'll try to do another session tomorrow. In the meantime, please do hit the like and subscribe button so I know whether or not people are actually going to watch these, because if I notice people aren't hitting like and subscribe and like the watch counselor or whatever, I'm not going to take time away from the family to keep on doing the videos. So that is my only ask. It's not like trying to do it for salesy purposes or anything like that. It's just a gauge to figure out, is this value add for anybody? So on that note, I'm going to wrap up. Everybody have a great night. If there's anything else, reach out on Discord. Happy to help.